you're being termed the most honest online dater there is. And the funny thing is, you have a beautiful face, everything's lovely, we're looking at you there, lovely eyes and everything. Why did you decide to post you had the bypass operation, and I suppose you had to. There's no point living a lie.
No, exactly. I think because people look at me and they don't see what's going on underneath, and in effect I look fairly normal with my clothes on, so I didn't want it to be a shock should it get that far, and for people to almost say it's false advertising. And there's obviously a lot of dishonest people on Tinder.
Well, it's interesting, as you and I were talking just as you sat down, that's one of the biggest complaints often about online dating, is that people say, oh, people are so dishonest, and they post pictures of themselves 10 years ago, and then you meet them and think,
yes.
OK. So, for you to start out and say, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to dress this up as anything it's not, this is me. Was that an easy decision for you to make? You wrestled with that?
Definitely not, no. I did wrestle with it, but the conclusion that I came to was that I want people to, if they're going to reject me before it's a face-to-face thing, because I don't think I could handle that if I felt that I'd liked somebody, met them, and then all of a sudden they just said...
I'm looking at you and thinking, well, look, surely this problem can be solved, right? So you had this, originally your weight was...
Almost 33 stone.
Right, OK. Obviously something had to be done about that, and the doctors say, this is morbidly obese, this is terrible, it's going to be ghastly. And you go for this gastric bypass operation, right? So I understand that, and that's on the NHS.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is why they say, this is going to have such an effect on you, let's get rid of this extra weight. But then the skin is part of that extra weight.
Of course.
Why does the NHS not sort of deal with the skin as well?
In all honesty, I don't know. I did speak to my doctors about it, but I was told that 99% or 95% of the cases that were put forward for funding were turned down. And I was told that somebody that was in a worse position than me had gone for the funding and they were turned down. So, which is why I've decided to try and fund it myself.
How much would it cost to get?
I believe with the 3 operations for the arms, the main body and the lower half, around 25,000. But that's just a basic quote that I've had so far. So
after losing all that weight, you say your confidence. You felt your confidence had gone up. So how difficult was it for you? Because your marriage sadly broke down. And so you haven't been internet dating for very long.
No, not
How
at all.
difficult was it for you to put yourself out there and think, right, I'm going to do this, I'd like to find someone to share my life with? That was a tough decision to make initially, I would imagine.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I'm quite an emotional, loving person, and I like cuddles, and I've been very lonely lately in the evening. I've got a wide circle of friends who I spend a lot of time with, and in the evening time, sort of, that's when I'm feeling lonely.
Children are in bed.
Yeah, you just want to curl up with someone and tell them about your day.
So how was that going? So you start internet dating, and initially
it went fairly well. I had lots of compliments. Oh, you're very pretty, you've got a nice figure, but of course then in my brain it's all going on, yeah, but you don't know what's underneath.
And at what point? So you start corresponding with somebody?
Yep. So I would be talking to them, it's not kind of, look, here's my picture, before we've even had sort of, a rapport going. So I've been speaking to them for quite some time, and then I would say, well, this is my story. I've lost this weight, and this is me. And then it would literally just go deadly silent. And
completely just fall off the radar.
Well, look, you may say, we can all sit and say, oh, that's awful, that's ghastly, but ask yourself, honestly, if it was you, what would you do with this? I mean, where I feel positive about this, Hannah, is that if you had someone who wanted to conclude the journey with you, sort of go along and say, yeah, Hannah, I love you because you, I mean, personally, if I wasn't already taken, I'm looking at that face, I'm looking at those eyes. When was the last time you had a hug, incidentally? You said you liked hugs. What? You said you liked hugs and cuddles. Oh, goodness me. But, so say someone said to you, I want to go along with you for this journey.
Yes.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
It really would be, yeah. Yeah, it really would be.
But is that not... the guys that just go, cut you dead as soon as... Do you not think, you know what, well, they weren't probably worth it? They're probably not the kind of man you want in your life.
I think it's a good way of weeding out people that I probably don't want to spend much of my time pursuing, really. But hopefully...
I suppose initially it's hurtful.
It is very hurtful, yeah. The first time it happened, I did cry for a few days afterwards.
Yes, but you say that. Look at the journey you've come upon. I mean, you're getting your health back. You're looking brilliant. All you got to do is a wee bit of shaving, carving here and there.
25 grand.
Yes,
But you see, again, I think, I mean, and I know a lot of people would disagree with this, and they'll say, well, that shouldn't be done on the NHS. But they did the initial weight loss, and that's a consequence of the weight loss. So I actually think that there should be an obligation for the NHS to complete that job.
I agree.
What do you say, Hannah, to people that say, well, you know, weight is something that you put on yourself, and therefore, you know, there are people who have got cancer, there are people waiting for operations, life-threatening illnesses.
Yeah, no, of course.
Do you understand their thoughts when they say, well, this shouldn't be on the NHS?
And to a degree, I do agree with them. I mean, there's slightly different circumstances. I mean, my weight was due to sort of depression and an illness that I had, which meant that I couldn't move about very much. I've never really just overeaten to massive extents that you see some people who have been that weight. But I mean, I can see the point, but you know, I do see both halves. But it's hard when you're the person in the situation.